Hey, it's Steve out here at the Soggy Bottom Farm. Man, what I got going on today is I happen to have one of these Cobalt cement mixers that you pick up at Lowe's. I don't know, the thing was around 400 bucks. I got a couple things that have gone wrong with it. I've owned it about 5 years. This thing has mixed up a couple thousand bags of concrete, and if you're looking to get one of these mixers, let me show you what you might experience if they're all made the way this one was, and how you can prevent yourself from getting in a situation where I am today, where I have had to remove the stator from this motor, and an effort to get it going one more time, because this has been a really good machine, well worth the money, and I still believe it'll continue running. But let me explain how I got where I am right now. Now, the very first thing that went wrong relatively quick after I purchased it was this latching switch here quit working. When it was new, you could push this start button and this relay in here would engage, and the thing would just run until you hit the stop button. Well, it wasn't long after I had to use this little C-clamp right here, and I would just squeeze this button with the C-clamp. To do that, I had to remove the lid from that pecker head cover right there. Well, you know what happened. Eventually the lid got left off and it got rained in. And that's where I'm at today. I had to tear it apart. I'm letting it dry out, and we're going to give the old girl one more try. Hey, let me share a little moment with you from a guy who has busted off a lot of bolts in his life. That long screw right there, if you got a situation like this, you be very careful. Don't just go after that thing. You want to turn it and hear it crack loose. If you don't hear it crack loose, you better stop. Something's about to go wrong. She's turning. There we go. Just be careful with these real long screws. We got to put it back together. Okay, I got them 4 guys taken off of there. Before you take your end cap off, if you're not comfortable, you ain't done this stuff a lot, you might want to scribe a mark on here so that you can get everything oriented the way you want to. I think I'm actually going to put this pecker head off to the side and try to keep the water from getting back into it in the future. It doesn't have to be straight up in the air like that. Let me pop this cap off of here. Use some screwdrivers, pry bars, whatever. Just give it some even force, opposite corners, and pop him off the bearing that's under here. Alright, I got that guy popped off of there. It didn't take too much. Had to show it a little TLC with a hammer, but not much. But man, you can see she's got a little corrosion going on in there. Make sure you grab this spring washer right here. We're going to pop that winding completely off of that rotor right there. Get this stator, but it looks good. I don't see any, you know, one of them didn't get hot. Everything should be just fine. She just got a little wet. Let me pop that guy off of there. It should just be a matter of pulling on it. You might have to bang it on, you know how to do it. Let me get it off. Didn't take much, but check it out. Yeah, she's wet. Still dripping. Let that guy dry out. Clean him up a little bit, and hopefully I checked out the winding. It's still good. It's just a matter of getting everything freed back up again. I hope that bearing ain't bad. I doubt it. You know, you gotta leave them things in there for a long time to start locking up. Let's see if it'll spin. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem at all. So take a moment and look at this cover here for a minute. This is the inside, the rear cover. You could see where the water level was at in it. But one of the reasons it got so high is because once the water entered, it had nowhere to get out. When I took the screws out of that hole right there, all the water poured out. And you can see they drilled all the way through this cover, and then they put the screws in it to hold the fan guard on. So before I put this back together, I'm going to drill a little hole in it right back here. And that way, if it ever gets water in it again, at least it will just run back out of there. I see these mixers all the time at different job sites, and it seems like this switch right here is a problem. Some guys put light switches on them. I've seen several of them with light switches, but I might disassemble this. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to, and figure out what is going on with this switch. And if you ever purchase one of these mixers and you start having trouble, at least we'll know everything that I've experienced. If you have as well, hey, this might help you out. Let's tear this guy apart. Hey, I got that thing broken apart. I took a little screwdriver here and pushed down on those things, and let me tell you, I had to push really hard to get it to break free from here without busting this body part here. Well, look, there was a couple of springs. When I got that fourth one removed, everything kind of flew apart, but I'm pretty sure they go right here. We got this little magnetic coil in here that should latch that thing when you after you hit the start button, and that's what's failing. So let's figure this out. There's some contacts in here. Man, I know that's hard to see, but there are contacts down here. They're leading to each one of these. Somebody put them in there. We ought to be able to push them back out. There we go. Let's see what they look like. Man, that don't look bad, does it? No, there's no arcing or nothing. There's nothing wrong with that guy. Get that dude back in there. I don't think that's going to be the issue. I bet you the thing got rain in it, and this isn't moving up and down anymore. Let me get that contact put back in there, and we'll be right back. Man, I don't know what I was thinking about. This isn't a spool. This thing's not going to move. It's just going to create a magnetic field. And it does do that. It just doesn't latch. So we got a contact issue going on over here. One end of this coil is attached over here, soldered onto that bar, and the other one is over here. One of them's going right here, and the contact for the other one. Now, man, let me look this over. Something's going on that doesn't allow it to stay latched. Alright, I'll put this thing back together. The stop button's going to be over here. When this thing gets power, it raises it up like that. So there should be contact here, just like the side of this switch says, through this contact 13 and 14. I could check it with my meter, but it ain't working when I got the power on, so there must be a little bit of something going on with these contacts. But check this out. something I noticed. Let me take this little dude here out of here again. Looks like that guy was in there like this. If I turned it over like that, no, it was in there like that. You see, that thing's not flat. If I turn it over, if I've mounted in there like that, then this portion doesn't raise high enough off this pivot point. I'm going to stick it in there like that, reassemble it, and that way it'll lift the contact higher. I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know how in the world that could have ever happened, just being installed on that pecker head. Let me reassemble it, and if you ever have trouble, maybe this is why yours stopped working. Man, I'm positive that's the problem. I got it installed in there right now the way I think is wrong. Man, I know this is going to be really hard for you to see. But inside that plastic is where those contacts are mounted, and it's under spring tension. You know, when this comes on, the spring should expand and hold them contacts up against their points there. And it's not doing it like this. There's no springing. So I think this switch was put together wrong from the factory. I'm going to flip this guy over. Or it might have to bend it. But if I put this guy back together like this, you know, with that thing angled up in the air like that, now when I push all the way down on that magnet, I have spring pressure right there. I don't have that the other way. I'm going to put it together that way, and we'll see if that makes it work. I might even take it back apart and do it the other way just to see if it won't work. Hang on. Yeah, see, there's two springs that sit down inside of there. Put this guy in there with the this part aimed up in the air, just like that. If yours ain't working, you might have to tweak that little angle a little bit. Now we got it like this. This is where the button goes. Let me push all this back together. Hopefully it all stays there. There's a couple of little protrusions down in there that those springs got a center on. Maybe that's where the thing is having trouble at the factory. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this accurately or not. We're going to find out. Let me bring you back. Man, I got that guy put completely back together. Man, is it just me, or am I having trouble with this camera focusing? Maybe it's just my old eyes. We'll get this guy thrown together and we'll see if this thing won't work better. You know, before we drill the hole in it. This switch is why the cover was off in the first place. Hopefully this took care of it. Hey, I got the old thing put back together, plugged up. Before I go any further, let's see what's going on here. See if this thing latches. I don't see anything wrong with that. So hey, if you're in the market for a cement mixer to use around the house, go ahead and get yourself one of these Cobalt mixers. You can pick them up at Lowe's. This one's 5 years old. Man, it's really done a lot of work around here. I leave it outside. I don't really take good care of it. But despite all of that, this thing has really held up good for the price I paid for it. It's got its issues from being left outside. You know. This is what you can expect if you leave your equipment outside, just from rust. This guy broke, more my fault than anything else. it holds it in place. The latch is right there. I'll weld it back on there. But yeah, this is a really nice piece of equipment. I'll get that cover put back on there, seal this guy up the best I can. I decided not to drill a hole in it because, you know, I usually leave it outside like that. But hey, if you ever plug it in and it trips your breaker, don't go get a new one. Take the thing apart, dry it out, mess around with your switch. Bob's your uncle. Thing does a great job. Alright, I'm done. I gotta go do some mowing. I'm out. You guys have a great day. Thanks for giving me somebody to talk to.